Hey, I just wanted to point something out that's come up a few times on the forum is the jack points for the LS. Doing an oil change here today real quick. I'm not going to do a video on that. Everyone knows how to do that. I'm just using my wooden ramps that I built to drive up on. It's just a longer, and most of the normal ramps, the metal ones are the Rhino ones. It's kind of hard to get up on them because it tends to be kind of short and you wind up pushing the ramp as you go up sometimes. But these work great. I built these probably about 10 years ago. Saw some measurements online, a few bucks on the hardware, and it works great. But if you're using a jack, one of the comments that people kind of figure out where the center one is, if you look underneath the skid plate and you have this round, kind of half round area, you can see a little bit of an impression there. Right behind that, going this way, is the, get a little better angle, is where the back part of the subframe is. So that comes across all the way to the other side and it crosses through here, and that's where you would put your floor jack if you were going to put one underneath here to jack it up from the front. On the back, obviously, you're going to just probably stick it in the center underneath the rear differential and jack it up high enough so you can get your jack stands up. And on the front, when I've done that, I usually put my jack stands somewhere in here. I try to stay away from the control arms, but right in here, right where the gap, right where that gap is, you can put your jack stands kind of in this area here, because it's just metal here before you get to the plastic. But you know, you use this area to lift it up, put your jack stands kind of off to the side right in this corner, and it'll hold just fine because the whole subframe goes across, and then you got the subframe that comes forward and then the one that goes to the front. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out because it's kind of come up and people are kind of guessing as to what they're looking for because they can't see it. In the old LS400, this wasn't here. They didn't have a skid plate that far back, so you could see the whole cross member, so you almost knew where to put your jack at. But anyway, just wanted to bring that up to you in case anybody else is wondering, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, thought I would finish this out again. So I lifted it with the floor jack, and I put, for right now, I put one stand underneath the subframe on the rear half. Kind of the same thing on this side, if you can see it. If you use the pinch welds, they usually would just flatten over if you don't have one of the little knot shaped pieces. I think I've got some rubber ones that will fit up into the pinch welds if I want to use the jack over there, because if you use the flat part up there, I've got a smaller jack that I kind of use for the tires, but you have to have that little block with the section that's kind of fits into the pinch weld, otherwise you'll just crush them and then you won't ever really get those bent back out again. But most of mine were pretty beat up when I got it, so I just wanted to show what I was talking about. You can put these jack stands further back. You could put them underneath the control arm right over in here if you wanted to. I just don't want to put any more stress on them. But somewhere in that vicinity will work. Maybe if you're just doing some quick work on the brakes or something like that, where you're not going to be technically under the car, because if you really want to be laying underneath this thing, you want to make sure you got to support it correctly. But Anyway, so I used a ramp to drive up on to get the floor jack up underneath there, because it's kind of a low profile on the front end, so that jack doesn't quite fit this far back from the front. So used the ramps, jack stand, and get it off the ramp, slide the ramp out of the way, put the jack stands underneath the support, and you're good to go. And that's really what I wanted to show you this time. Thanks again.